Welcome to my next Lost. Season 3 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important. If you weren't caught up to the point where I am rewatching or watching Lost, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you found that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And full disclosure, I've already seen Lost 3 other times. I wanted to rewatch the show and let it resonate, as this is one of my top 5 favorite TV shows of all time. But I'm not the only one that's watching Lost. The legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who you see comment on my Lucifer, Dexter New Blood, Dexter Original Sin, and Breaking Bad videos, is actually watching Lost for the first time. So join us on the journey and let's discuss this awesome and amazing show. However, no spoilers past this episode, just in case the legendary Crazy Coffee Man isn't far ahead. So no spoilers past this episode. So with all that said, this will be Lost, Season 3, Episode 15. The title of this episode is called Left Behind. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we start with Kate, and she's still captive in the game room at the barracks, handcuffed, and she's pretty nervous. Juliet comes in and ducks the attack and flips Kate on the floor. She explains that she was just bringing some food and walks out, leaving the sandwich splattered on the floor. Then we have our flashback, or many flashbacks. Kate is stranded in Iowa with a broken fan belt. She introduces herself as Lucy to a tow truck driver, Johnny, and he takes her car into town. At the repair station, she sees Cassidy trying to pull the jewelry con that Sawyer taught her. So all these Lost characters randomly see each other in different places. It's pretty crazy. When Cassidy's Mark threatens to call the cops, Kate intervenes and covers for Cassidy. Cassidy thanks Kate for her help. Cassidy says that she'd like to know why Kate would go to such trouble to avoid police attention. Nothing that Kate is clearly not noting that Kate is clearly stranded. She offers her a ride into town for a drink. Back to the island, Kate is playing with the backgammon chips when John Locke enters the room to say goodbye. His right hand is bandaged and his face is bruised. He says he's leaving with the others, and Kate can hardly believe it. She tells Locke that whatever the others told him about taking him home, they are lying, and asks if they're brainwashing him. John Locke explains that he doesn't want to go home and tells her Jack is going to have to stay behind as well. He says he put in a good word for her, but the others told him that what she had done back home and forgiveness isn't one of their strong suits. Kate asks about Jack, Saeed, and Danielle Russo, but Locke ignores the question and wishes her good luck. Kate asks what happened to him, but Locke leaves, telling her only, "I'm sorry." Hurley tells Sawyer that there will be a vote on whether to banish him from the camp tomorrow. He suggests that Sawyer make amends to continue being part of the society, but Sawyer says, "I don't do amends." Kate grabs a piece of white bread off the floor and begins eating it. She hears a commotion outside and looks to see the others darting large hold-all backpacks, guns, and gas masks. The door opens and a gas canister is thrown into the game room, and Kate can't escape and collapses unconscious. Back to our flashback, Kate and Cassidy, played by Kim Dickens, discuss conning. Kate says she uses Lucy because it was the name of a saint. She admits to killing her stepfather Wayne because he was a bad guy who beat her mother, and says she has escaped from the marshal after being initially caught. She tells Cassidy she's in Iowa because she wants to talk to her mother. Cassidy offers to help her get to her mother because she knows what it's like to be betrayed. She fell in love with the wrong guy and gave him her life savings. She says he was a bad guy and at least one of us deserves something good. Of course, that bad guy being Sawyer. It's crazy how these characters just randomly run into each other that are intertwined. Kate comes into the jungle and realizes that she is handcuffed to Juliet, who is still unconscious. Sawyer successfully catches a fish but is unable to properly gut it. Realizing that he would have great difficulty surviving on his own, he approaches Hurley to find out how to make amends and change the vote. Hurley pokes fun at him for not having learned to gut fish in all the time they've been on the island and demands an apology for the various names Sawyer has called him. Sawyer begrudgingly agrees, and then they begin work. Kate spots a knife in Juliet's pocket and steals it, but Juliet wakes up and grabs her wrist. Then, when Kate flips open the knife, Juliet seems as surprised as Kate to find herself there and lets go of her grip. Kate attempts to use the knife to pick the lock of her handcuffs, but Juliet tells her that the knife is too big for that and that unfortunately they are stuck together. Kate says she wants to go back to the village to get her friends, assuming that they've also been gassed and that the others have left. Juliet says she doesn't know why they would just leave her in the jungle. Kate angrily replies, "You say they like you didn't lock me in a cage and watch me break rocks all day." Back to our flashback. Kate approaches her mother's house and knocks on the door. Diane answers, and Edward Mars and his men jump out with guns pointed and dressing her as Austin. The woman is actually Cassidy, who is in disguise and just selling Bibles. Now, I said Edward Mars. I meant Edward Olsen of Dexter New Blood. I hope we see that character again in Dexter Resurrection. Anyway, Kate watches through binoculars from a car down the street. Cassidy joins Kate in a motel room after having been questioned for half an hour. She tells Kate that she can tell she must have done something bad to that marshal to make him so obsessed about catching her. Cassidy says that if she's going to lie to the FBI, she wants to know more about what Kate did. Kate confesses that she killed Wayne by blowing up his house, but took out an insurance policy on it beforehand, which financially would have set her mother up for life. Kate says she wants to know why her mother turned her in after Kate had tried to protect and help her. Back to the island, Kate leads Juliet by following the track made by whoever dumped them in the jungle. Even though night is coming and Juliet predicts it's going to rain, Kate insists on continuing back to the village. Juliet tells her that they are handcuffed together because Ben likes to play mind games. As a thunderstorm starts, she tells Kate not to go back for Jack because Kate is the one who ruined Jack's chances of leaving the island. Kate punches her and the two start fighting, and then Kate dislocates Juliet's shoulder and she screams in pain. Then they hear the sounds of the smoke monster or the monster and run to hide in the trees, the dense trees. As Kate has learned to do in past encounters with the monster, Juliet is shocked and says, "What the hell?" But Kate covers her mouth as they hide. The monster locates them, and for a moment, intense lights flicker from above on their faces, and then they hear a mechanical grinding noise. The women shield their eyes, and then the monster seems to move away. Juliet behaves like she's never encountered it before, much to Kate's disbelief. Juliet asks, "Are we safe?" To which Kate replies, "You tell me." Hurley tells Sawyer to go over to Claire and say something nice about Aaron, giving him a blanket to give her. Sawyer does so awkwardly, making Aaron cry, even though his voice used to apparently calm Aaron. And Claire is amused and puzzled, but appreciative. Kate apologizes for Juliet's injury and says she didn't mean to hurt her. Juliet tells her not to flatter herself. It's the 4th time her shoulder has been dislocated. She tells Kate to help pop her dislocated shoulder back into place. Kate hesitates, and Juliet tells her that it feels like she has glass under her skin, and that it's her fault Juliet is stranded. She also tells Kate about the cameras at the Hydra station and how Jack saw her and Sawyer together. Kate protests, saying that Jack only told her not to return to protect her. But Juliet says that Jack really didn't want her to come back because she broke his heart. Obviously hurt by the statement, Kate grabs Juliet's arm and forcefully puts her shoulder back into place. Back on the island, well, we're still on the island. Sawyer and Desmond hide with guns, waiting for a boar to come by. When Desmond asks Sawyer what Sawyer's angle is, why he's suddenly willing to be his hunting buddy, Sawyer replies that he has hearts and minds to change and wants to give the people something they'll like, remarking that money has no value on the island, while meat does. A boar appears, which Desmond shoots. Back to our flashback. Cassidy orders a meal at the diner from Kate's mother, Diane. She intentionally spills her soup on Diane, who remains polite and goes to the bathroom to clean her clothes. Kate is in the bathroom and gets a very cool, or more cold reception from her mother. She asks Diane why she turned her in, and Diane explains that despite Wayne's abuse, you can't help who you love. Kate says she did it for Diane, but Diane says that Kate really did it for herself. Diane says she thought Kate might be there to apologize, but Kate states that she's not sorry. And then Diane bluntly tells her daughter that she won't turn her in right now, but will if she ever sees her again. And then she leaves Kate crying in the bathroom. What a bitch Diane is. Holy crap. If she were my mother, I would be, she's just mean. Anyway. Kate asks if Jack actually said she broke his heart. Juliet replies he didn't have to say it. And then Kate angrily claims Juliet doesn't know Jack at all, but Juliet gives a long list of things that she does know about him, far more than Kate knows about Jack. They hear the sounds of the monster again and run to the sonic fence, falling in the mud as they escape. Kate stops and refuses to cross, remembering what happened to Mikhail, and Juliet insists that it is currently turned off, but Kate doesn't trust her and forces her back. Juliet pulls out a key to the handcuffs from her own pocket, unlocks herself. So Juliet had a key all along. Kate then runs through the barrier to a numbered keypad on the pylon. She enters a code that includes the numbers 15, 16, and 23, and tells Kate she'd better join her. Hearing the monster approach, Kate dives across the line, and Juliet activates the barrier as it arrives, crashing through the jungle. Juliet stands, and it faces it. The smoke from the monster advances along some of the perimeter of the barrier, but stops at the sonic fence as though it were a physical wall. It soon draws back into the jungle, and then Juliet admits that she lied about being unaware of the creature, saying, "We don't know what it is, but we know that it doesn't like our fences." Kate challenges Juliet about having the key all along. Juliet admits she didn't tell her that she had a key because she wanted Kate to think they were in it together and didn't want to be left behind again. Kate snatches the key from Juliet, removes her own cuff, and dumps it on the ground as she walks away. Sawyer helps roast the boar as part of a feast for the camp. He admits to Charlie that he knows about the vote, but Charlie says he knows nothing of it. Sawyer then realizes that Hurley conned Sawyer into being decent. On confrontation, Hurley says that with Jack, Kate, Locke, and Sayid all gone, people need to be able to look to Sawyer for leadership, and thus he needs to relate to them better if he's going to be their temporary leader. Sawyer says that he doesn't want to be a leader, but Hurley points out that Jack didn't want to be in that role either. Hurley tells him that he's just done a good job making everyone in the camp happy, and Sawyer seems to accept it, bringing food to Claire, who lets him hold Aaron. However, Son still gives him an angry look, and he realizes not everything has been smoothed over. Juliet and Kate arrive at the barracks and find that the place practically deserted. Juliet says that she'll get Sayid and tells Kate where to find Jack. Kate finds him unconscious in the house he's been staying in, which has been trashed. She wakes him up, tells him that the others have all left, and tearfully tells him how sorry she is since it was apparently her rescue attempt that led to the others leaving. And then Jack asks if Juliet left. Kate tells him they left her too. Jack says, now we go back. Back to our flashback. Cassidy drives Kate back to her car. Kate thanks her and asks for the name of the guy who ripped Cassidy off so she can help Cassidy get her revenge. Cassidy tells Kate she is pregnant with his child, but Kate still advises her to call the cops and get him locked up. And Cassidy asks if Kate would ever forgive her own mother for calling the cops on her, and Kate admits that she won't. The two women thank each other, and just before parting, Kate reveals her real name to Cassidy as Kate. Saeed says he has checked all the houses. He tells the other three that everyone else has gone and left no tracks. It is though 50 people simply vanished. He questions the fact that Juliet is coming with them. Jack insists that they allow her to join them, saying they left her behind too. And that's what ends this episode of Lost. So pretty good episode of Lost. 8.6 out of 10. Nothing super crazy, but a fun, suspenseful episode. Character of the episode, obviously Kate. Secondary character of the episode, I'm going to give it to Juliet. And then my third character of the episode, I'm going to give it to Cassidy, played by Kim Dickens. I think Cassidy is a really good kind of like minor character in Lost that doesn't get a lot of time, but in the time that she does have in the show, like she sticks with you. That's just my opinion, might not be yours. So those are my thoughts regarding the episode. And I must say, in the last episode, the Nikki and Paulo episode, I kept saying Paulo when it's Paulo, so whatever, tomato, but I just wanted to mention that sometimes I get going and I just don't think of that I'm mispronouncing something. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lost and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section and interact with me and the legendary Crazy Coffee Man. The legendary Crazy Coffee Man, at some point we'll have a really good detailed review of the episode's key plot points in the comment section. So make sure you interact with me and him. Ask as many questions as you have. Ask him his opinion of the show. Ask him about his favorite characters. Ask me about my favorite characters. Whatever you want to ask. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel. Join the team. Show your damn support. And be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.